And welcome to another episode of More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
I'm Kathy.
Welcome to episode 199.
Damn,
Man,
that's a lot.
that is a lot of episodes. I mean, that's a lot of episodes. So, today we're going to talk about hobby things we plan on doing over the year. Not resolutions, but just things we want to do over the year. And mostly it's because, resolutions are for chumps. So we're just going to talk about things that we want to do over the year and get things done. But before we do that, we got to say a big shout out to Muse on Minis. Make sure you go check them out. One of our good sponsors. Use the code More Than Dice, all one word, and you will get 10% off your order. And also, we want to thank Mini Masterworks. They have now sent us their code for our store, and we'll get 10% off your order there also. And we've already had some people order stuff, so thank you so much, because we get an email saying, hey, someone used your link, which is really cool.
Yay.
So go make sure you go check them out. And you can definitely I know that the Vortex paint shakers have been a really big hit right now. So you can get those, and 10% off of those is actually a pretty good deal right now. So
Especially because they start at a better price than a lot of other places.
oh yeah, their pricing on them are really, really good. So I actually wanted to fix their thing.
Fix the thing. What thing are they fixing?
Make it
Well,
bigger?
no, they're
Make it bigger. You know what Muse
Hey.
on Minis needs? They need a little ghost around their black lettering so that it pops out on the dark background.
I will have to fix that. That sounds like a good idea.
I assume you mean ghost is some sort of technical term for it, I would assume.
Yeah, like a little outline that's lighter.
Yeah, that's what I figured, but context clues and all
Yeah,
that.
sorry.
It's all right.
Think I can
Look,
do
no
that.
one tells
Look
me
what
nothing. I have to do
Look what I found on my desk, though.
A payday
Oh,
or a Twix?
Y'all, a Twix.
A
A
Twix.
little fun-sized Twix, and I aim to have fun with it right now.
By shoving it in your mouth.
Yes. Excuse
I
me
ate a
while
bunch of
I
those over the holiday.
chew on candy.
So other than
I
that,
have half a thing of Pizza Hut mini Cinnabons downstairs to reheat and eat for dessert.
Wow.
Yeah, ordering those was a huge, huge mistake. A tasty, tasty mistake.
Mm-hmm.
so we have some shout outs to go on. One of the ones that we're working up on 2 weeks, Sally Ann Howell, excuse me. She was the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang actress. She passed away at 91. I don't know if anybody, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was a pretty interesting movie when it came out. I don't know if anybody remembers that. Banyan, click the link up in the chat, and they have the Vortex mixer, and you can grab some there. It's the Mini Masterworks. But she had done a lot of roles. What was another one? We have, of course, John Madden passed away recently. I'm not even a big football person, and I know who John Madden is.
Yeah, even I know who John
Well,
Madden
I
is.
mean, let's be honest. He's in the top 5 of best, sports color guys ever.
Yeah, and
Yes.
larger than life in so many ways.
Oh,
The
yeah.
other thing is that he's worked with 2 of the best sports announcers ever. Also, Al Michaels and Pat Summerall. I mean, it's just the quality they brought so many times.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the football games. If you played video games, you knew
Yeah.
John Madden just from the
Mhm.
video games
Mhm.
and the commercials that he was in all the time and everything. So I mean, we all knew that one. And of course, 2021 took Betty. Everybody knows
You're
this.
right.
This was someone told me that it's a very comedic genius that she did. That she just did the episode or the cover of People magazine of being 100 years old, and then decided to pass away before the issue came out. And I was like, okay, but I don't know. I mean, Betty White was such an amazing woman, not only, as an actress, but as a champion for equal rights, which a lot of people didn't know. I didn't know until like a few, Betty took 2021.
Yes.
She took
that
it
meme,
down with her. She sacrificed herself.
yeah, there's that too. The memes that came out about Betty White passing were just as good and respectful in any way possible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I haven't seen anything say anything bad, but I mean, it was interesting to learn about some of the stuff that she did that happened when I wasn't around, like
How
allowing.
about what all the Golden Girls did? I mean, there's a whole meme of that, how they
Oh,
were
yeah.
all just great people for everyone in
They
general.
really were. They
Oh, yeah.
really were.
So I mean, I just thought that was. I mean, there was a lot of stuff I learned about her in the last like 2 or 3 years that I would have never known.
Mhm.
But I mean,
She's been around for, didn't she have a career even before TV? Wasn't she a radio
I think she
actor
started
too?
at like the age of 19 or something. She was doing stuff. So I mean, she had a huge career type thing. So I mean, there's nothing to be ashamed of, and she was an awesome woman.
Mhm.
And yes, the meme going where Betty White grabbed 2021 and drug it down with her and everything,
Yeah.
or the Lord of the Rings one for Betty, and they charge off into 2022. I thought was really good.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, it's got Aragon as they're going towards
Aragorn, something else
Yeah.
entirely.
Goes off into charging at the end of Return of the King. So the same for Frodo is for Betty, and it says 2022 in the background. And I was like, that's a pretty good one. I saw another one today where it was I think it was like God sitting on his throne. It was like, oh, Betty, welcome to heaven. And she goes, listen here, young man, you're in my seat. And I'm like, yeah. Type of thing. So, John, what are you drinking today?
I have some Dr. Pepper and some Kraken rum, and then I put a little bit of lime juice in there to keep it from getting too sweet or anything.
Captain Mizzy was asking if you're drinking rum because Captain Mizzy cannot drink today, not alcoholic wise. Kathy, what are you drinking?
Jim brought home a Pinot Noir from the grocery store today, so
What?
we had that.
Buying alcohol on a Sunday? What?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, it's
We
my
can do
favorite day to
that
buy
here.
alcohol
We can do that here.
because
Yeah.
we live in real states.
Yeah. Yeah. We aren't allowed to. And
Then again, I can't go to the grocery store and buy alcohol, but
We are a bunch of blaspheming heathens up here in the north.
yeah, there's
Yeah,
very few
word.
places that let you do it here on a Sunday. I am doing a Macallan Special Reserve, so be doing that. Guys, please be careful right now. There are so many people that are getting COVID right now, and so many people that are sick, so many people that are doing stupid stuff and hurting other people that shouldn't be getting it.
Yep.
If you're sick, stay home. If you feel sick, stay home. I don't care what the CDC says.
yeah, they're a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really fair. There are a bunch of people who are more interested in making the economy work now because of political pressure than actually doing the right thing.
Correct. So, wash your hands, wear your mask still, do whatever you can to stay safe. We want to see everybody at HugCon 2022, aka Adepticon.
That's this year. That's this year.
Yeah, this year.
Yep.
So, to everybody, cheers.
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 Whew.
Also, there's a fly in my house, and it keeps flying by me and following me around the house. And I'm like, how is this possible when it has been like 30, maybe 40 for the last I don't know how long? And it snowed yesterday, and it snowed today, and it's like 20 degrees out. How is there a fly in my house?
I mean, it's warm in the house.
How did it get here, though? It wasn't
Magic.
warm outside. That's one of the mysteries of life.
Indeed.
So, it is a new year. It is 2022, and we've got a ton of things that we want to do, and a ton of things that need to be done. I guess you can say that you want to get done. I'm going to switch over to the painting cam, and I'm going to show you some pictures of. I did Kathy's little thing where you put a picture up of what you want to paint and how you want to paint it like, so people can see what you're trying to do. Because I have a feeling that what I want to do with the eye, I have to fix the eye a little bit, but on this demon. But I think I know what I want to do. I just got to figure out how to do it correctly, and so I put pictures up there. So I'm going to get this set up, and while I get this set up, we will talk about what we plan on doing for 2022. John, I can't hear you.
In a totally unprepared way.
So, get the camera.
How is John muted?
I
How did
can't
this
hear John.
happen? Is this because you were changing cameras? Did you screw something up?
I didn't change the camera.
Wait for
Oh.
it.
Yeah, I actually pointed and said one moment before I muted myself so I could talk to somebody else real quick.
Oh, didn't hear that. Didn't
Yeah.
or didn't see that. So let me get this other one up.
Yeah.
Oh crud! Oh, I'll be right back. I forgot my glasses. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I had to congratulate somebody because they did a really good job in MechWarrior Online stuff.
Oh, yay.
He was in Discord, so I muted myself here and chatted in with Discord real quick. Legion will know what I'm talking about. Banyan too when they see it. So is those his reference pictures for his eyes that he wants?
I guess. That would be really cool. I do absolutely advocate using photographs as references for your painting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially when you're doing something like an eyeball and you want to get it right. A specific type of eyeball, like a goat's eye or a toad's eye or an octopus eye. Because they all have very distinctive, different, weird-looking eyes.
Oh, yeah.
So this
one looks interesting.
So this is a owl. I think the owl's name is Zeus. And Zeus is a blind owl. And this is what his eyeball looks like. And so everybody says he's got like a galaxy in his eye.
That is amazing.
And I thought that would be kind of cool to paint a galaxy inside of this eyeball.
Yeah, and I would say, gloss it afterwards also I think will help a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at all those reflections that are on it, and seeing that the outer part is so very black.
Yeah,
all the way around, and then there's like this reflection, and then inside that there's like a reflection on the top, and then there's another little reflection on the right-hand side of the eyeball of the one I'm looking at, and then there's that sort of window reflection, which is also really cool to add, and then there's all of that, the blue. And then it's a slightly lighter blue as it gets down to the bottom of the eyeball versus the top where it's darker. And then all the little dots.
Yeah, little dots of stars.
And I know some people see things a little differently than I do. So I don't know that they necessarily see the reflections as just pieces of light and dark in contrast.
Well, I know that, okay, so what I want to do is and I know that there's got to be that blue. That blue to me is really, really important. But
I don't know. I was looking more at the top one and thinking you could literally just get away with taking like a dark gray and mimicking the spots and lines in there, and then for certain bits go up to a second level gray, then maybe go a little bit of white for the last one, and then if you want to do that one. The blue one's going to be much harder to paint. It's going to be much more involved.
Or a combination. I mean, you could stretch and do a combination of the two, and it would still look really cool. I was looking at the lower right-hand eyeball. But either way, it'll be cool.
Yeah, I figured if it paint like a little bit of a galaxy type theme inside of this eyeball would be kind of neat to do. So I got to do a little bit of touch up just around it because I want to get. but I think I want to do like a. I don't want to say it's a blue wash, but kind of that's what I'm thinking about, just so it gives it a blue undertone.
So you want a lighter color? You want to mix a little bit of white or something in with that blue, sort of a blue.
That blue reminds me of P3 coal black.
Kinda.
Oh, I do have some of that. Hold on. I do have some coal black. I just gotta find it.
Oh, hey, Big Night. Hail Hydrate.
Hail hydrate.
Great.
Ooh, that hit a little hard.
I'm counting my ginger peach tea as hydrating.
I drank water for that. Not back to alcohol.
I know I have some.
But to do a gradation from that lighter blue to the darker blue, you could start with the lighter blue, and then do sort of a thin glaze around that lighter blue with your next darker color.
So, Legion, actually, I would do, if he's doing the whole thing, I would do the coal black, then I would do the various lines and dots you want to do. And then I'd probably use the gray contrast paint over top of it. Maybe thin it a little bit, like an Uber wash, and then go back and do some touch-ups here or there, try and get a good tone. But I'm not sure how that would work overall, because I haven't tried the gray as an Uber wash yet. But it would be interesting to try.
Okay, I thought I had some coal black.
And I can see how I would approach it, which would be different. And I would be painting the reflections in instead of doing
Gloss varnish at the end? No,
a gloss varnish. But
I'll do gloss varnish.
That's just me.
Now, to be fair, if I were going to make it part of a diorama, then I might paint the reflections in, just because then you're next level badassing it. And mine
Or
would
you
look like
could
shit,
do
but
some reflection and then still gloss varnish it.
There's my coal black.
that's going to be a personal thing. They got to decide what you want to do with that.
I
Yeah.
think I want to try the coal black because the coal black has a very bluish tint to it, and we can
does.
work from there.
Now, is the value of it as light as the lighter blue
No.
on the eyeball?
No, but we can work up. That's what I'm saying. We could work up to that.
See, my personal preference, and I know not everybody paints this way for sure, is I like to find the lightest value of it and then work down. As far as my basic, now I'm not talking about the dots of color. I'm just talking about that overall lighter blue.
Interesting. So
of
rather than
color.
painting over it, you painting over for the lines and stuff like in there, the details, you paint the background on it.
With this particular thing, I would start with the lightest color of the background, which would be a lighter blue than the coal black, and then I would thin down some coal black and glaze it around the edges of my lighter color and into the black.
And that's why you have a golden demon, and I do not.
So let's try this.
Also, I was noticing that the edges of the eye are still black. And there's like an area around the edge that's totally black still. That blue doesn't go all the way to the edges.
It's almost though like it's sunken. They're not fully in the sockets. I don't know for sure though, because I can't tell depth that well because it's a picture in my depth perception shit to begin with. You may be right.
That's one thing where eyeballs are. I mean, eyeballs are kind of spherical, but they're jelly-like, and they have this translucence about them. So it's almost like you're painting a gem. In fact, I paint eyeballs almost the same way that I paint gemstones. At least the irises. Yeah, additive. Mizzy says additive and subtractive styles are both valid, and that's absolutely correct.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even in all sorts of media, if you look at, say, classic animation, they would take white and then draw everything on it. But when they did Batman animated series, they started with black and then would just do, things that aren't black.
There's so many different ways you can create art.
Hey, Lady B Miniatures, how you doing?
Hi, Lady B.
Hey, Lady B.
There is not a wrong way. There really isn't.
No, as long as you're
As-
painted, it's
yeah,
all right.
as long as you're happy with what you're achieving, then it's all good.
That's right, Flint. He's got the kitty ears on.
Hi,
So.
Flint. We're just watching Gonzo paint an eyeball, and
Oh.
and it's weird, just this hypnotic thing to watch him paint the eyeball. So then we just kind of are
Space out.
quiet and watching and not saying anything, which is less helpful when you're trying to
Yeah. So.
podcast.
I mean, theoretically, we have a topic.
Yeah. So I have a goal that I want to do, and it is a goal for Adepticon because I do plan on going, and I only plan on playing one game, and Adepticon has fully painted rule. And I believe I'm going to go play because I'm going to limit myself to what I'm going to play this year instead of trying to play everything.
Mm-hmm.
I
You can actually hang out with people.
Exactly. I am going to paint my Warcaster up. Now, my Warcaster, of course, is that paint job where it's got the color shift paints.
Yep.
Which most of it is airbrushing, and then just putting in what I need. Bad thing is, one of my airbrush died. So I've got to use my other one, and hopefully my other one will work to do it. I got to test it out and see if it's worth it. So that's one of my hobby goals, is to get all of my Warcaster stuff painted for Adepticon.
I mean, good luck. It's coming.
Yeah, that's also why I chose Warcasters, because I can airbrush 90% of the army.
Oh.
Legionnaires wants to know, is it the brush or the compressor?
It's the brush. This SOTAR 2020 or 2022, the inside mechanism of this part right here is messed up and will not, no matter what tension of spring or anything I put inside of there, it will not compress or won't do anything. So I've got to get a new airbrush. I've got another one, a Badger Patriot, that's kind of like my workhorse brush, and that I can try and see if it'll.
Posture check. Guess you saw me slumping.
Oh, that's all my stiff muscles. Hello. Hello, all those muscles.
Oh, actually, I really like how that's coming out in general.
Yeah,
That color actually looks really good on it.
It does.
Yeah,
definitely.
it's a bluish green gray in a way when it's on there.
Are you throwing layers of it on more the closer you get to the center of the eyeball?
First, I got just a complete color on it. Now I'm going to try to get a little bit layered up on top.
Oh, Flinty it wants me to stretch. I better stretch.
Yeah, better stretch. So, similar to your goal, Gonzo, my goal is actually to get the airbrush set up and learn how to use it.
That's not a bad goal. I mean, the one thing, I have not used my airbrush for anything besides base coats, type thing. I haven't used it for fine detail work, if you would say. You know what I'm saying? All right, so I'm going to get some of this coal.
I think it's funny that that Flint thought that stretching meant you were going to stretch, not that you were going to get stretched
Armstrong.
Well, yeah, I mean...
All right, so I put some of this coal black down, and so now I need to get the gradient up and lighten it up into a lighter blue. Kathy, what colors do you think I should put into it? Do you think I should just go for a lighter blue or some white or?
Well, throw some lighter blues onto the camera so I can see what you've got.
I've got everything.
And Lady B wants to know what you're painting again, Gonzo.
This is the Trickster, the demon model of the Trickster from Creature Caster.
That's going to be for Judgment, is that correct?
It can be used for Judgment, yes.
Thank
This
you.
is one of the new Judgment models that's going to be used. I'm going to do some cleanup, of course. So, I mean, I have every spectrum of blue that you can think of. So, have this like
So that might be a
two.
good one to mix with it.
Okay.
That frosty
Yeah, that's
color.
a good
It's
one.
got a little bit of white. What do you think, John?
I agree. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I I'm looking more at the top. I was looking more at the top eye, but if you look at the bottom eye, yeah, I think that would look very well. Would work very well with it. It would probably
Yeah,
shoot the
yeah,
brightness
it's the
down.
bottom of the eye that I was thinking of too, because the bottom is a little bit lighter than the top.
Yeah, I think that's actually because the angle of where the light's coming from, but who knows for
It's
sure.
that's how the irises of eyeballs work. Just like with gemstones, you get this lighter part down at the bottom as the light if the light's coming from above, it kind of hits that convex curve.
There you
So
go.
darker at the top, lighter at the bottom, but then there's up at the darker part, there's that reflection.
Mm-hmm. Kathy, do you have any goals to start off?
As I was looking back at the things that I painted in the past year, I feel like I didn't paint enough compared to previous years. So I need to get painting more. And you know what I need to do? I need to take more pictures of the stuff I'm painting. When I started oil painting at the end of 2020 and then into the beginning few months of 2021, it sort of threw off my being in the habit of taking pictures of stuff, because when I was using oils, everything was so incremental. Like I would do all this stuff, but you couldn't really tell what I had done from one day to the next day until boom, it's done, which is weird.
Let me tell you something about that. Hobby Streak has taught me that just putting up the progress and saying what you did, people will look to see, and that's good enough, honestly.
That's true. And I got out of that habit somehow, and it was really difficult. Oh, I like what you're doing with that, Gonzo.
Yeah.
He's applying that lighter color to the underside of the middle part of the eyeball. So you want to leave that dark part down at the bottom. You want to leave a little, like a millimeter, a couple millimeters of that darkest part down at the bottom. You don't want to go all the way down.
Yeah. I would just see how it dries, because it'll be very subtle, I think, when it dries.
Mm-hmm. And then if you feel like there's too hard of a line in between, you can still just take a little bit of that dark color and thin it down and glaze it along that edge line.
Or if you plan on using a wash or something at the end, that will probably clear it up as well. But I definitely agree.
I agree.
So you want to paint more models? Well, that's a good goal in general.
I know. I know that's like everybody's goal is to paint more models, but I definitely I have a bunch of stuff sitting here in front of me. This next week is going to be, or probably the next couple weeks is going to be making bases for these models that I have sitting in front of me. So that's my main thing. Make some bases. Get some things assembled. You know, one of the things I really want to do is, for once and for all, you'll laugh, finish my Geller Pox.
Yes.
Because most of them are actually done except for their bases. And now I have Uhu glue so that I can do slimy bases, which is what I wanted to do with them. So, and I've never done that. And that is another thing that will be new for me in the new year, which is using Uhu glue to make slimy effects, like snotty, gross effects, and blood and saliva, things like that. I'm actually pretty excited to do some things like that.
So Kathy's into bodily fluids.
Yeah, yes. Like on this guy, this you can't see it. On this goblin thing that I've got, I mean, he has a lower jaw, but it's somewhere else. I might do some saliva from one of his teeth going down to his lower jaw, which I think would add a little character and make it really look like he's just, screaming with spittle flying from his face and stuff. So yeah.
Cool. Gonzo, do you have another goal?
I'm with Kathy on this. I need to paint more. This model has actually got me wanting to paint more. If you haven't noticed, I mean, some of y'all, I showed John and Kathy. I actually snow based and painted the base look like snow when I thought I was going to paint it, as a, or I wouldn't say snow, but ice. I haven't done
Touch
like
the model with your brush. It's making me anxious seeing you not like
not not paint.
not take advantage of the paint while it's still wet.
Um,
I'm like, he needs to rinse his brush and then blot the excess water off of it and then like feather the edges of that paint out into nothing.
Yeah.
That's just my own personal thing though, and I'm just like I'm waiting for that to happen, but it's not happening. And I'm like, what's going on?
He's yabbering.
I'm yabbering.
Get painting. Only V would say, no painting, only distraction.
Well, I mean, until it's done with that, then you can distract some more. But I think my second one is actually less of painting more models. I mean, I hobby streak every day for, I don't know, for math number of days. Hold on, where is it? 1,488 days straight. So, I mean, I could paint more models. I'd have to actually, spend more time, which I could do. But I'm actually more interested in trying to continually to push myself. Like, I'm spending all this time on this goddamn base that's one of Magneto's constructs. I'm just going to throw out some fucker for a couple points of damage. But, I could literally just paint the door one color and go. But I'm like, let's make that like police department, police car door.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming out better than I thought. I need some touch-ups and all. We'll need some white there. It's not quite as framed as well. The P is a little high. The part of the P you can see is a little higher than it should be. But, I mean, I freehanded it. So, I mean, and the Y goes a little further down than maybe I wanted. But, it's coming along. From a distance, it looks fine. But I don't know if I want to stick with that. I think I want to make it perfect is probably, too much, but make it better. I keep going until I'm like, okay, that's good enough. Keep challenging myself. I joined a thing called Paint Slam, which is about painting models, which if you guys are interested, you should check out on Twitter. It's literally just about getting models painted. That's our whole thing. I want people to help support everyone get models painted. And someone, when I posted pictures of Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff, was like, oh, I'm afraid to paint them. I don't think I'm good enough. I'm like, well, how the hell are you going to level up then if you're just scared of them?
Yeah, if you
Literally,
can't, you gotta paint them.
Unless it's a model you can't get again.
You're not gonna make them look worse. I mean,
Yeah.
Ray is just there. Adding color isn't gonna make them look worse. I know this because my first models, I still have my first models. And they aren't good. But they're painted and they have color and you can tell, the different parts from each other, and it's better than just a metal painted model or a plastic painted model. It absolutely is better, and the only way you're gonna get better is if you actually paint.
Yeah, and like I said, literally, unless it's a model you cannot ever replace, just do it. Even if it's a model you can't replace, you can probably strip it and start again.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Even then, even if you can't replace it, what's the point of having it if you're just going to let it sit in a box?
I had that one custom sculpted Ashland forearm machine. Took me a while, but eventually I'm like, fuck it. It just can't sit here. I got to paint this goddamn thing.
Yeah.
So I did.
I mean, that being said, I've certainly had painting paralysis, and I've certainly had trepidation when I'm starting a new model. Mm-hmm. And I definitely will procrastinate and paint, like the base or the easiest part. But part of that is maybe you're not warmed up. So you want to find some projects that you can do. Like I'll be making bases at the beginning of the year because I had to take a couple of months off of doing anything with the hobby. So I need to get back into my rhythm. So I'm going to start it. I assembled some models. Now I'm making bases for them. And once the bases are made, then I can start my painting on the bases because I don't need to pay as much attention to detail when I'm painting bases. And having bases on hand to work on, or having something that is all you need to do is prime it or base coat.
So I always put models in different stages of preparation. So you're like, I can't be arsed with paint and detail right now. My hands are a little shaky. I'm gonna paint some base coats.
Exactly.
Yeah, and if you need to paint something really important and good, plan for a longer day, a longer day of hobbying, and then just start on the simple stuff. And then when you're feeling like you're there, you're in the zone, then you get the good thing and you start going.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it. You can't.
It's just like with music, You're doing scales first, or you doing vocal things first before you go out and sing. It's the same kind of thing.
You just can't be scared. Just do it. But yeah, I wanna level up and continue to do stuff like that where, rather than taking necessarily the easy way out, do something a little more difficult. Not all the time. Just once in a while we see the opportunity. Oh, I could just watch this. I mean, or you could just paint the shading in.
I've seen some amazing paint jobs come out of somebody who just said, fuck it, I just want to paint this bust.
Yep.
I just want to paint this bust and I'm going to give myself, 3 hours to paint it in and we'll see where I am. And the paint job is just like, it's not the Mona Lisa, but it's amazing. It's like the color choice is amazing. The style that they did it in is amazing. Maybe they don't have, the best buttery smooth gradation from one color to another, but who cares?
Yeah.
You can see that they had fun with it. You can see that passion went into it, and the model looks good still.
Yeah. That's what really matters. I mean, that they enjoyed it. They like the way it looks. And wherever you hang out, Discord, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, find a group of like-minded individuals to bounce stuff off of. Like I have this Warhammer for BattleTech I've been painting for a while. Could be done, could not be done. I don't fucking know. So I just posted a picture. I'm like, hey, what do you guys think? They're like, well, you could do this, or this, or it looks fine like that. You could just base it and call it done.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need that support because you get stuck. Like, is it good enough? I mean, sometimes we need that validation. No matter how hard we try to not need it, we want that validation from someone else to just tell you it's okay.
Yep.
Thumbs up. I think we're back over to you, Gonzo.
I actually want to play some more games.
What?
One of the things that I want to do,
madness.
yeah, is I want to get some games, and I don't want to say get competition, whatever type games in. I just want to play some games with whatever models I have. One of the things, and it's not a bad thing per se that I have models that I'm not using, I'm not playing with. I just want to use the models that I bought. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to play some more games, and I want to play some games. I want to play. Let's see. Want to play Warcaster. Want to play some War Machine and Hordes. I want to play some Armada. I want to play some Marvel Crisis Protocol. So, I mean, I want to do some playing of games. I need to play some games. And they just, nothing big, nothing fancy. I know that there's like a couple of steamrollers coming up, and I'm like, oh, I'll go play in those. Because, I know everybody there, and I don't give a damn if I win or lose. I just want to roll some dice and hang out with the appropriate people and play some games.
Yeah,
I've kind of given up on playing games.
Never
I
give
may
up. Never
I
surrender.
may play. Is Marshall coming? Is L Marshall coming to Adepticon?
Yes.
So I may end up playing a little bit of Marvel Crisis Protocol because he said that he would let me use his stuff.
Oh, you can also use my stuff. That is all I'm bringing. It's probably because it's all I
Perfect.
have painted, but
I haven't even played. I played it like I played some demo games at conventions, and that was a long time ago. And I haven't played since I even looked at the rules. I haven't bothered looking at rules for anything since I knew I wasn't going to be playing anything forever.
yeah, we'll make sure that happens there. But I think all of us could say playing more games because let's be honest, the pandemic has not been good to gamers, tabletop gamers.
No.
Most have gone to online things, and I happy for everyone who finds Tabletop Simulator or Vassal or whatever a good substitute. I
Yeah.
am not a fan.
I something to go along with that. I'm glad that there was an ability for me to do role playing with some people online and get some of that in because I've been dying to do that. And I say it's weird, but what was that? I think I talked to Mizzy about it 2 days ago. I had a dream about an RPG that I want to run and something I want to do. And one of the things that I want to do is, I don't know if everybody saw it a while back. Someone had, let's create a world by rolling all of our polyhedron dice on a map, and
Hmm.
each dice represents something. And I says, I want to do that. That just seems like a very fun, cool thing. And what I want to do is I want to stream that because I want input from other people. I just don't want to do it and be there and go, okay, this is a mountain, so on and so forth. I want to set up a camera and go, all right, D4s are steep mountains, D20s are major, whatever, major
Yeah,
cities.
there's a bunch of stuff on that all over
Yeah,
the place. You could do a quick search and find that
yeah,
That
all sorts of
sounds really
places.
fun. I like a world building stream.
yeah. And what I
I
want to
have
do
a
is,
friend who does a world building stream, and he uses Incarnate for his map making,
hmm
but he takes all the people in the chat, it's he takes their suggestions for like names of uh forests, names of mountains, rivers, oceans,
yeah, and I think that would be
towns,
really cool to do.
pubs, NPCs. It just like gets everybody into it. Now everybody's like, well, I kind of want to play a role-playing game in this, in this world that we've just been building, in the city that we've just been building.
Hmm.
So like everybody's invested in it.
Yeah, because
And
I want to do the get a big poster board, set up a camera over the poster board, and say, all right, we're gonna roll it off, and we'll do like a light pencil, throw the dice down where they lay, and then do a light pencil around those things, and then build up and build the story around that world.
yeah.
Because I have a concept that I want to play out because I've had a world in my mind and written down on paper of how the world works and what's going on with it, and I was like, oh, this would be a perfect way to do it. And I thought that would be something really cool to do. So I want to do a stream where I do this world building with the map. Roll the dice down, get everybody in there, get everybody excited, going, ooh, cool, and then kind of move the camera around, going, all right, well, we'll mark out this is the mountains. Oh, look, there's a major metropolitan, city, and it'll be a fantasy world next to these, a bunch of D4s. And oh, that'll be really cool. Why don't we make that like a dwarven? They built into the mountain type, and just go with it. I think that
Hmm.
would be a really, really fun thing to do.
Yeah.
And I want to do it with somebody. I don't want to do it by myself. I could do it by myself anytime. I want to do it with a group of people and talk about it because I also want to discuss the world and the where I want to go with it and how I want to do it and the way the game is played because I have a different concept of what's going on with this world. It's an interesting thing. I don't want to spoil it because it's just starting out.
I feel you there. I actually have lots of notes for my homebrew world, and I got to find them because I don't know where the fuck my notes are. But because we're going to be doing, like I said, we're going to be doing Genesis, playing some fantasy with it,
Yep.
not
Genesis is
using their
really good.
world. I did get their book. I have it over there. Oh, that reminds me. I don't know when I'm going to do it. I need to read an expert from one of the books I got too. Actually, let's. I want to read this because this sort of goes to my mindset of 2022. So I got this. Feng Shui is doing a thing where you do a subscription, promising to buy supplements. They just keep making supplements.
Cool.
They're not expensive. You get a discount if you subscribe, then everyone else can buy them. And they've put out, this is the second one they've delivered. They have a couple more in the works. So now Feng Shui is, there's a lot of time traveling through portals, but only to set junctures, so to speak. And they consciously decided, and I like the way that's looking.
That glaze went really. All I did was take that coal
Yeah.
black and just make it into a wash glaze, and it
Yeah,
really.
once you do the edges of the lighter color and then let it flow into that darker color, it's like you're erasing the hard edges.
Yep. But so they decided not to do World War II as one of the junctures for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But now, so they said, this is a quick word about Nazis. This is on page 4 of the book. Let's make sure we're all clear about something. The Nazi Party, established in Germany on February 24th, 1920, was a vile and reprehensible organization built on a philosophy of bigotry and hatred. It legitimized and promoted violence, prejudice, and persecution through pseudoscientific, racist ideologies. It curtailed free speech, tried to rewrite history, and tore Europe apart by starting a war that killed tens of millions, while the Holocaust killed 6 million Jews and millions of Poles, Slavs, Romani, homosexuals, and handicapped people. The damage this caused is felt to this day. Feng Shui is a role-playing game about time-jumping heroes exercising skill, bravery, and good judgment as they battle across history. It's not a vehicle for debating or sympathizing or legitimizing a horrid philosophy. Be a good moral person when you run this scenario, and indeed any RPG. If you run on a game where your players beat the crap out of Nazis in so many ways, here follows many pages of background you can use. If you want to run a game where you players are Nazis, will take their side, or are interested in participating in Nazi activities, here's some concise instructions on what you can do instead. Stick this book up your ass. That's where I'm at. That's where we got to be with this.
Uh-huh.
You know, that whole thing is there's people upset and trying to gatekeep people in from a hobby when, like, oh, they're trying to change the hobby. No, we just want racists and bigots and all those fuckers out of every hobby. Fix your fucking head or get the fuck out of everything. And we all need to be there. That's one of my goals, is to not stand up for that. Not stand up for that. Not stand for that shit. Just stand up for it. Call people on their fucking bullshit and just deal with it. We got to get these people to either understand. You can have your political beliefs, what your personal beliefs are, what you believe in your house. It's fine, but don't spew that shit into a game if it's some reprehensible shit. Maybe you'll realize eventually that this is not the way forward, and some people maybe just don't know. Maybe somebody will get some research, but just don't bring that shit into a game. And if you're in the game already saying we're trying to change it, yes, sure, we're coming in, we're trying to change your game for the fucking better. There you go. There's a mini John rant.
Good rant.
An important one.
Good
That
rant.
sounds like a fun game, though.
Yes, Feng Shui is super fun. I almost ran it for fantasy because it's super easy. But I realized if I didn't run Genesis now, when the fuck would I?
It's a really good system. For people that don't know about it, give a brief rundown of why Genesis is such a good system to use.
Well, just so everyone knows also that it is the system they currently use for their Star Wars game as well. There are 3 Star Wars games, Age of Rebellion and all that, are all based on Genesis system. But the way it is, it has special dice, and the dice have successes on them. So, got to almost go full game. You have different types of dice that are positive and different types of negative. You build a pool of positive dice based off what your character has, be it skills, attributes, and advantages because of situation. And then you take a pack of difficulty dice based off how hard the thing is, other complications, and environmental effects. And you roll them all, and you figure out how you succeed based off that. So it is possible to fail, but you could fail, and good things could still happen because you have advantages. Because in each die there's success, failure, and then super success and super failure, basically. It's like they're the two kind into one. So you total those up to see what you do. So you could literally go like, I take a shot at him, oh, I miss, but I did it in a way that, I spend the advantage and I hit the panel on the ricochets and hits the panel on the wall, which closes the blast door or something like that.
Yes. It works very, very well in Star Wars, which it cracks me up because Star Wars is like that. Many a times they're like, "Oh shit, I missed," but like I said, hits the controls, but still closes the blast door, so the troopers behind them don't get in.
Exactly. So that means you failed what you were trying to do, but you had I forget what it's called, but you had good effects, so you use that and you do something good. It is a great system because it takes away the binariness of success or failure.
Correct.
I do like that idea that you can succeed at something, but then something can happen which makes it more complex, complicates it.
I
Yeah.
used that for my Star Wars game because, of course, we were playing with that rule set, and there was a time somebody was using their lightsaber and they cut through something. They did it really, really well, and they did it so well, but they had a failure in it in the process. And so when they jabbed their lightsaber down through this creature, they actually went into the metal and got their saber stuck inside the metal, wedged in as they were trying to pull it. And it was like, you did kill it, but your problem was you didn't pull or turn your lightsaber off quick enough, so it got wedged in the metal as you were cutting through things. And they were like, okay,
Yes.
I can see
It's
that.
like you're out of position for a second, something like that. There's so much you can do with it. It's all that stuff that it adds a sort of cinematic element to it.
Yes.
And Kathy, I was talking about that other cinematic game that I just got a PDF for. I'm gonna send you it so you can take a look. It's just the super quick start rules. It's very interesting because it is very similar to this in a lot of ways. Very cinematic style to it.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, so there's me. I want to do more role playing games if I can, and I mean, just run the one will be good to start. I don't know if I'll get a chance to play in any. That's sort of my lot in life at this point, but I'm okay with it. But yeah, I think we all want to play more games of various types.
I definitely want to see if I can try to get in some games, role playing games, of games that I haven't played. So go into a convention and playing in an RPG that I've never played in.
Yeah. Oh, and I did get the GI Joe deck building game, so Bainey and I, or whoever comes over, and I can try that out at some point.
Interesting.
Finally, it finally showed up on my doorstep. I'm like, it's all right. They went through some tough times. I don't blame the company. I mean, their distributor, which is Diamond Alliance, did did have some problems, and I feel for them. But Lady B, you should get the D&D DM's Guide and Player's Guide and write a campaign. Do it.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people
I
are
am
scared
also
to.
on the cusp of getting the DM's guide. I need to do that. It's in my wish list now.
It's
In my Amazon wish list now.
it's like painting difficult models. Just do it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Guess what? You running a game that you're just doing your best on is going to be better than not having any game at all.
That's true. One hopes.
I mean, as long as your heart's in the right place and you are upfront with your goals and your players are upfront with their goals, it'll be fine. I've never had a game when we've had that understanding that has gone bad.
Yeah, and even if you get the rules wrong, you're like, so? Did
Yeah,
it?
they're really more of guidelines.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we've had that, just like I said, just do it. Too many people are too scared to do all sorts of things too much.
And
We gotta not be
especially if
scared.
there's a story you want to tell. That's the thing. If you have a story you want to tell, but you like, hey, but I want someone else to do it. I just want to see how it works out. That's a really good way, and that's usually how I do it. I go, I have a story I want to tell.
I'll be honest. If someone had like, oh hey, I really want a fantasy campaign, here's the basic ideas I want, but I don't really want to run it, I would take someone else's ideas and run them sometime. God, that's fine. I mean, that's not what it's all about. It's just collaborative storytelling.
Yep.
People forget, we've got some people out there who want to win role playing games. You know how you win? You show up and you play and you have fun. Victory. But yeah, I want to
Yeah.
do that. And this is Gonzo. I got Transformers and GI Joe role playing games coming next year.
Yeah, I want the Transformer one.
And that'll be interesting. I'd be interested to see what those both end up being like.
Yeah, and I actually the one superhero game as an alternative champions came a while ago. I've got that sitting over there. I got more games than I can run. God, it's like
Oh
the
yeah.
'90s again.
And same here. I actually got rid of a ton of RPGs, but kept the ones that I really, really liked. And I was like, "Ooh, man, I still want to run all of these because they all sound really, really cool."
Yeah, I mean, even D&D Fifth Edition sounds cool. I mean, it sounds like D&D. D&D is cool. Don't everyone ever think that me not playing D&D has anything to do with me not liking D&D. I may be a little upset that they decided to backpedal off of fourth edition rather than go forward, but that's fine. It's all good. So, but yes. Eclipse Phase, yes.
Oh, that's a good system.
That's a good world there, yeah. And just if you're trying to, we're gonna have to do a role playing game stream soon because obviously we have a lot of role playing ideas to get out. But
Yeah.
don't hesitate to just run a fucking pre-made adventure. They're
Oh
super
yeah.
fun. We had multiple D&D campaigns start off in fourth edition with the Keep on the Shadowfell, which is their 1 to 3rd level adventure, and it was fun every time. And you'll find as you get more and more of those adventures and you get more experience that you're taking them as a framework and going your own directions with it instead. There's the moment in that game where there's a goblin who you can spare basically. Well, not only did my players spare him like the second time, but they were nice to him. So he hung out with them. He's like, well, these guys are nice to me. I'm going to hang out with them and I'm going to, help them do their thing. So they sort of had a goblin henchman at like level 2.
And
Yeah,
goblins make such great henchmen.
I mean, he just helped them with stuff.
I have been gaming with people lately who absolutely would rather talk through a conflict than resolve it by instantly bashing skulls. And it's been very interesting. Like they will always try to talk to whatever monster it is that we're facing in case they're intelligent enough to want to talk something out rather than immediately going, "Oh, there's a monster. Let's all kill it."
Just do the Jack Reacher way. When they finally decide they're going to fight, just go, remember, you wanted this.
Yeah.
Make sure they understand that. So we used to always just have Kairos. That would be not Brushhead Dave's fire mage. I just have him give every enemy party a warning fireball, which usually involved incinerating half of them. But hey, details. This is your chance to take your wounded and go. Otherwise, the rest of us will jump in.
Yeah. And I like the fighting and stuff, but I also have been liking this whole diplomacy thing. It's like I've been in so many groups where we all just always, kill everything, which
Murder
whatever,
hobo everything.
Yeah, well, Lady B
or
said she's a murder hobo 100% of the time. Wait,
yeah,
if that's what you want to play, as long as it's in character, it's all good.
yeah.
I've played morally ambiguous characters where there's one where a guy was running it, and Norin from The Adventures of Sewer Bear fame was the quote unquote party leader, and a guy was giving us a hard time, so I just opened my jacket, pointed at the silenced pistols, and he gave me the nod, so I pulled it out and shot the guy in the head.
We had a conundrum in our last D&D game a couple weeks ago, or pre-Christmas, and one of the players absolutely loves mimics. The player, and the GM knew this, and she had us run across some mimics that we
Did he
ended
try
up
to
having to
befriend them?
kill, and then a baby mimic.
Oh,
And me and this other guy were like, here's two people who are talking about how do we, what should we feed it, whatever. And I'm like, what do you mean feed it? And I'm looking at the other guy, and we're like, you don't. What do you mean, like, find other mimics for it to grow up with? Like it's going to be an orphan? What, rescue it? What do you mean? This is a wild creature. And so the guy next to me just put it out of its misery. But it was like this weird, and the person is talking about, all the facts about well, I say facts, in quotes, about mimics and things, and like, well, I understand that you know this and you feel this way about mimics, but is it in keeping with this character that you're playing? Your previous character would have been all about this rescue thing. I understand this. And sometimes it's difficult, and we slip back into those earlier characters and things that they would do. It was funny. Banion says, Ranger with a mimic companion? No, Banion. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the opposite of that.
Not just no, that's an HFN. Which, for anyone who doesn't know, stands for hell fuck no. Oh, because Banion's going to be in the campaign. I'm sure he's trying some... No.
Y'all, my character in that game is a bugbear. He doesn't care about mimics.
No. He doesn't care.
He could be your coffee cup in the morning. Oh, that would be so sweet.
It's somehow getting more creepy. Right. So. Mr. Bullock, oh, hell nah. It's a media time, actually. We went through a handful of hobby goals, watched Gonzo do some work and more work on that eye.
And started getting stars in. Ugh.
It's funny because you get them like, yeah, that looks really good. Then you like wash over it, they do some more. I'm like, yeah, it's looking good. Then you like wash over it some more. I'm like, how many times is he going to do it? Is that what you felt like, Kathy, when I was painting that building? You're like, oh, John's done, and then I do more?
Yes, I was...
No, but it still kept looking better, right?
Yeah, it started adding layers really well.
Better. So, it's not like you kept working on it and it was the same and you couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, it's adding layers and depths to the... to the starry eye, best way to put it.
Yeah, that's looking really good. Who would have thought if you put a little extra time into something that would end up looking good?
Nah, that sounds like bullshit.
Sounds like some shit I would say.
Totally communism.
Yeah.
Lady B, a warlock who got Cthulhu as a patron would be eaten.
Yeah, that's.
I feel like Cthulhu wouldn't be bothered, and he would be like, small snack. Like a bowl full of peanuts. You're just one of them.
Well, again, maybe it works. Maybe there's a god like Cthulhu in the fantasy world that would do that.
A lesser deity.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just like, fuck it, that sounds like fun. Go do stupid shit. I like it.
That could be too. Yes.
It's all good. All right.
In my world, you would be eaten. So fair warning for anybody who ends up playing with me.
In your world, can I be a Nettin?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, king in yellow, yeah.
So
media.
How many episodes or things do you have?
I don't know. I
Multiple.
didn't keep track. I totally lost track. You know what I did? I watched 2 of the Cornetto movies this weekend.
I'm going to guess which 2.
You may guess which 2.
I'm going to guess you watched the zombie one, Shaun of the Dead, and then you watched Hot Fuzz.
I did not see Shaun of the Dead. I've seen that before. I watched Hot Fuzz, and then I watched the World's End.
Wait.
Well done.
I'm inferring from your words that you had not seen Hot Fuzz before?
I had not seen Hot Fuzz before.
Oh my
Can
gosh.
you believe it?
What the actual fuck?
That's great.
I laughed
let's start there.
Can we just talk about this? I laughed my ass off. This was the best. This is the best homage to British murder mysteries ever.
And action movies.
Yes.
I talk to people about British murder mysteries and the crazy things that are so common. We joke about anytime we're watching a British show now. We're like, even we were watching the first time I saw the British baking show, I'm like, well, this piece of countryside looks perfect for a murder. I kept waiting for someone to be murdered at the British Bake Off. But no. Disappointment.
Gonzo, you gotta fix something here.
So
I see it. I'll fix it.
There were just so many. Captain Mizzy says I haven't watched Hot Fuzz. If you watch as many British murder mysteries as I do, you'll appreciate it on multiple levels.
I'm gonna tell you, Nick Frost is really, really good in this one, especially him loading the shotgun.
Shame!
Shame! And I'm like, it's just like a classic scene.
Oh God! Oh! In the one part where he falls on his back and who is he gonna shoot? And he didn't get to shoot them, and he just unloads it into the sky.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, it's Kathy's first time with Hot Fuzz.
Is great. I could guess your rating, but I'm going to let you deliver it.
Oh yes, Ford Fit. Yeah, my first time watching Hot Fuzz, and I give it 0 space herpes because you always talk about ticking, boxes and stuff. Well, this hit my bingo card of British murder mystery things, like every single thing. And at the end, spoilers, and there's a cult? Oh my God.
Yeah,
of course there's a cult.
Yeah,
it's
great.
solid.
It is. I would call it a perfect. I could not think of a way to make that movie better.
Mm-hmm. They're solid.
And they get good music in it too.
The Impaled Joe, nah, 0.
The Implied Lord. Oh my God, I forgot about the.
Timothy Dalton.
Oh God, I was.
I'm gonna get a couple out really quickly just to say because of the things I watched. So I watched the entire extended edition of Lord of the Rings. Still amazing, still great, still.
Shock.
The only thing that I would say is that these special effects are starting to show now, but that's just because I'm used to seeing these special effects. I'm like, oh, that's a special effect shot. Does it detract from it? No. Is it still one of the greatest movies trilogy we've ever had? Yes. I enjoyed it beyond belief. So 0 space herpes. I also did watch. I finished Witcher season 2. No spoilers because we were watching it. It gets a 1 space herpes from me. So we'll just leave it at that. And I did finish Wheel of Time. The entire season is out. Still waiting on Kathy to watch it before I say anything.
Sorry.
So,
and
The Witcher.
I watched also Discovery, the new season of Discovery, and caught up on that. And this one's a good season too. So
yeah, that's what I've heard. All right, so The Witcher. I started watching season 1 of The Witcher.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really sold up for me, and it has not quite hit the expectations of what it was sold up to. It is good. I would not necessarily call it great, but it is very good. But in episode 4, I think it is, when it becomes apparent that they're trying to wittily tell the story out of order, they need to go fuck themselves. You can do that if you're Quentin Tarantino and it's modern day and you're only keeping track of people. But you're keeping track of places and things and people, and you're like, wait, is that little boy the same king that he's working for now? No, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I was.
You can
so
do that if you make it
confused about
clear.
stuff like that.
Yeah, it does get confusing. I totally forgot about that until you told me about it, and I'm like, yeah, I remember. There was a lot of confusion in the time jumping.
Yeah, so I got to episode 4 and said, fuck right off, I'll come back to you later. So currently, it is a go fuck yourself, but I'm sure it's better. I enjoyed the first 3 episodes; they were good, but I'm very annoyed with what they're doing there.
Mhm.
It is a shitty trope and a shitty way to do it. It's not even as good as something like the Suicide Squad when um, they, time jump, but they make it clear and they're like, 24 hours earlier. Like, oh, cool, we know what's going on.
Yeah, it's nice when they label them in
Yeah, when
some
you label it,
fashion.
then it becomes interesting. Like, oh shit, this is out of order. Cool, let me pay attention more.
Yeah.
Not like, oh god, what? Fuck, I don't care.
Uh huh.
So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm finishing. Since I'll go for this real quick too, I'm finishing Bubblegum Crisis since I'm rewatching that before I go back to watching The Witcher. I don't want to try and watch too many things at once. I did watch 2 more episodes of Bubblegum Crisis, so I got the 4th episode, which is a one-off, not really related directly to either of the other episodes, just a small intermediate piece. I would call it purely filler, but it's still good. It has some good cyberpunk motifs. And then did the 5th episode, which starts the short second arc of it, and then when I get to the 6th episode, I'll finish that off. The 7th episode refers back to episode 2, and then the 8th episode's a one-off at the end. I'm still enjoying the crap out of it. It very feels truncated. Like there's a lot more story here that could be told, but when you only have a 35 to 45 minute OAV to tell a story, you got to cut shit out. And I'm gonna tell you all, if you like this, check out the music. The soundtrack, this is awesome. It is pure 80s glory. So, there's that. Where are we back to? Kathy, talk about something else.
The World's End.
I've not seen that one.
Seen it.
Saw that today. That was the last one in the trilogy, and hilarious, of course. Not as on point as Hot Fuzz was. Like Hot Fuzz, I was dying through the whole thing.
I've been told always that that's the worst of the three, and not really a fair statement, but it's the worst of those 3 movies.
The World's End.
Yeah.
It wasn't what I was. Well, I didn't really have any expectation. I didn't know what it was going to be about at all.
Fair.
And it starts out as just this sort of drinking pub crawl movie, and then it turns into something else. And I was so taken aback, and it ended up being really good, and I liked it.
Good.
The ending was hilarious. Still a little weird how Gary King ended, how his little timeline ended. I don't know if spoilers are in order or what, but anyways, I was a little baffled by his little ending. It was still amusing. But overall, I liked it. I would give it a space for B. Not as good as... I would agree with the assessment that it's the worst of the 3, but it's still good, and the other ones were
it's like saying
hilarious.
Return of the Jedi is the worst of the 3 original Star Wars
which
movies.
is
Well,
still
darn.
a classic, and I will absolutely watch it.
Cool.
But middle one just tugged at all of my murder mystery heartstrings. So.
Cool. Gonz, you want to hit something a little more in depth?
A little bit more in depth. So, I am watching Mayors of Kingstown. Mayors of Kingstown is a Paramount Plus show with
Jeremy Renner?
Yeah, Jeremy Renner in it. This show has been a sleeper hit for me. I saw it on there. I was like, oh, I'll just try it out. I got some free time. It is good. Best way to say it is Jeremy Renner plays a character that is the go-between between prison inmates, gangs, and the police force. He tries to settle things and make sure that, okay, the prisoners are allowed to let this cocaine come in, but the police or the prison guards need this, type thing. And he tries to get, tries to give an even keel. It kind of, yeah, it kind of reminds me. I don't know if anybody remembers the old show, The Shield. He's a good guy.
How would you not remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me, has that feel for it, because you can tell he's a good guy trying to do good, but he's got to do bad things. But you don't fuck with Mike. You just don't fuck with that character. And not going to spoil anything because this ending season is next Sunday. It is really, really good. If you have Paramount Plus, I highly recommend it. It has got some oh shit moments. It is very mature, of course, because it deals with guns, violence, prostitution, all this stuff. And it's solid. It has been a sleeper hit for me right now. I would say maybe, not even a half a Space RP right now. Because this last episode was really good, and the season finale is next week, and I can't wait for it. This has been a really good one. It's also really good to see him playing in another role outside of the MCU.
I mean, he's been in other roles, but yes, fair enough.
But yeah, but lately that's all I've seen him in. And I saw that. I was like, oh, that's it. And I was like, damn, this is good. I binge watched all 8 episodes. So, highly recommend it. 0 Space RPs for me on that one.
Cool. Well, no spoilers, but I watched the first episode of the Book of Boba Fett.
Same here.
And let me tell everyone, it's the first episode. If you're on Twitter going how this is why he's not really interesting because he's just some dude in armor, it's the first fucking episode. A good portion of it is how he's still the fuck alive.
Yeah.
That's what I want to find out.
This was the building of the story.
Yeah, you can't. If you were going to judge this episode off the first episode and not like it, spoiler, you weren't going to like it regardless. And that's okay.
Your expectations were way too high.
Everyone. Yeah. Like some of us have decided, some of us loved Boba Fett when we were younger.
Mm-hmm.
1 second here. Sorry, my echo keeps going crazy. Love Boba Fett when we were younger, and then, maybe fell out of love with him because he was super overdone in the 90s. The late 90s, like when Star Wars started to make its resurgence, like he was super duper overdone. And then The Mandalorian came along and like, nope, Boba Fett's fucking awesome. And you watch this, you're like, it's explaining things that I had problems with in there. So I'm good to see it. I'm interested to see where it goes.
How did his armor get scattered across Tatooine after he was dumped into the Sarlacc pit?
Oh, that's answered.
Answered. How did he get out of the Sarlacc pit?
Yeah. These are the things I want to know, and so I must watch this show.
Yeah, this was a building episode. This was a, here's what happened, here's what's going on, this is what I have to do. You got that? Now we're going to get into the story of now the Book of Boba Fett. But you had to build something up on this. You had to answer some questions before you got started.
Yep. And I'm okay with stuff building. I mean, I'm just surprised all the people on Twitter who didn't like it, and apparently people on Twitter who didn't like The Mandalorian, which shocks me to my core, but it takes all kinds. So, looking forward to that. No rating yet.
Yeah, still going on.
Yeah, it's going weekly. This sounds weird. I've never been much of a binge watcher, but and I like having things weekly. With Hawkeye ending, I'm actually happy to have something else to look forward to watch weekly.
Yeah.
So, I'm enjoying that. Kathy, you got anything else?
I'm sure I do. Oh, you know what I watched? I watched Ben-Hur.
Oh my gosh.
Ben-Hur. Which I was like, I know I've got something, and I can't think of...
The original, I assume?
Yes, the original Ben-Hur, starring Charlton Heston. And I don't know if I ever saw that in its entirety. I think I might have watched parts of it. Because I remembered the galley slave scene, and I remembered him going down.
I remember that also, and I haven't seen the movie at all, so I think that might have been in some other media.
It's possible. That may be why. And then the leper colony part, I remember
Okay.
seeing. And who knows, maybe we both watched the same like retrospective on
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it just had like highlights or something. I don't know, but there were just a few parts that I remembered seeing and the rest was a total blank. And I had no idea that the movie starts with basically the nativity. It starts with the three wise men going to the stable where this kid is born. And it never mentions the name. I don't even know if it does at the very end. Maybe at the very end it does. About some guy who's talking about peace and love and stuff. And I just referred to him as the hippie through the whole thing. I talked through it. Like
All the movies you can, especially if you put subtitles on the screen so you can just read also.
Yeah, I didn't, but I think I was distracting my friend from it. I just was commenting through it. It was good. I mean, it's a classic, you know. There are things about it that maybe didn't age well. I can't pick anything out as an example. But overall, it's still a fantastic movie, and of course, it's full of sweeping vistas and good acting.
Oh yeah, it's an early blockbuster, so
and
to speak.
fantastic music. So, I mean, it's an epic.
Yeah.
But on the scale of Casablanca to
Cats.
it is much closer to Casablanca. Just like one step below Casablanca on that scale.
Didn't we decide what was the middle of that scale? I don't remember.
Oh, it was just our last podcast, I think, that we were talking about
Yeah.
that. I don't remember. It was whatever I had seen. What did I see then? It was some other oldish movie.
We have to research to see what that is so we can calibrate
Time
the
to go
scale.
find the VOD. What was that? I don't remember. Anyways, Zero Space Herpes for Ben-Hur.
Zero Space Herpes is very closer to Casablanca than Cats by a long stretch.
Absolutely.
Gonzo, you got anything else?
I actually have two more. I actually have four more, but one I'm going to say Ron Gone Wrong, cute little Disney movie. Encanto, really good Disney movie, by the way.
Okay.
Great soundtrack. Another great soundtrack. I highly recommend Encanto. But the one I want to talk about is I went back and rewatched The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2.
No spoilers. I haven't seen 2 yet.
Yeah.
I haven't. I own it on DVD downstairs. Just haven't had a chance to rewatch that series.
Okay, no spoilers. Here's my thing. I have always said that I think he is the best Spider-Man and best Peter Parker. The problem is, in my opinion, because he has the snarkiness and the attitude that I like of Spider-Man. The geeky, nerdy, quirky.
Agreed on that. Don't think he's a good Peter Parker. I think he's a good take on Peter Parker, but he's not classic Peter Parker.
But what I don't like is the script it tried to do too much in 2 episodes, in 2 things, and tried to do too much. And I was very upset because he's always been my favorite, and I love those. Is the script great? No. Is there some pretty cringy parts of it? Yes.
I recall the lizard special effects not being good.
Yeah, there's some stuff that just wasn't good. But the concept and him being Spider-Man and the story of him and Gwen Stacy hits perfect for me. And that's the reason why I like him the
Gwen
best.
Stacy, I forget her name, was great at Gwen Stacy in the first one.
Yeah. And that right there makes it all worth it. And it goes back and ties into No Way Home of why I think he is the best Spider-Man of all time. And why I like him as the best Spider-Man.
Wait, better than the guy who played him in the 70s?
Better than the guy that played him in the 70s.
Doubt.
I don't know.
Yeah. He's always
The guy
Andrew
whose
Garfield.
name I don't remember was pretty good for the 70s.
Yeah.
It is one of my favorites.
Spider-Man in the 70s.
I really wish they would do a third one. I wish that they would put Andrew Garfield back in the suit with his attitude and the attitude they wrote for him in that story and the heartfelt they have with him. I really wish they would do something with him again. I really liked him as Spider-Man. He's my favorite one. So, won't give anything, but other than that, I have one other, but go ahead, John.
I'm actually going to talk about, I mentioned this when it came out in July, my cousin John Appel's book, Assassin's Orbit. Even though I've had it since July, I pre-ordered it. I just hadn't had a chance to read it because I was reading other stuff. Finally sat down to start reading it New Year's Eve, and I am 80-some% through the book. It is super good, sci-fi, murder mystery, political intrigue type of thing. So if that seems like your cup of tea, give it a look out. I am not going to give it a full rating yet, but I'm leaning in the 0.5 to 0 space herpy area. We'll see how it ends up because there's some cliches that could come through and take it down a notch, but I'm enjoying the crap out of it. I've not read anything that fast in a very long time.
Nice. Those are always fun books. I like it. It may not surprise you to know that I like a good murder mystery book.
I like the books where they get interesting enough where you don't want to put them down. Like,
Yeah.
I don't dislike the John Carter of Mars books, but they were never, probably because of the age, they don't grab you the same way.
Mm-mm. And they were episodic, so they were, they came out in parts in issues of magazines back in like the 19 teens.
The 19 teens, yeah. Sure. But so there's that, and then aside from that, look forward to finishing that so I can read. I got a book by Robin Laws called Hamlet's Hit Point, which is another game mastering book. I have that, and I have his old Steve Jackson book on game mastering on my table to read afterwards.
Oh, nice.
We're running the game again. Let's read some tips.
Yeah.
Conta? Finish this out.
So let's see. What was my I had two, I think, but my last one, what was it? Oh, The Matrix. And I'm going to just say this one gets a 4.5. I think it was crap. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. But the new Matrix, horrible beyond belief.
So, Kathy, I will point out that Banyan actually thinks it's very interesting and likes it. So this may be Gonzo being right. It also may be another Ready Player One situation.
I don't know, because I've heard some other people talk about...
I have not. It is not generally positive reviews from what I've heard.
No. It's really just about what I expected.
I've heard it's fine. They throw some callbacks, but callbacks are not substitute for actual content.
I mean, callbacks to what, really? Callbacks... If it's not a callback to the first movie, then who even cares?
I mean, the second one has some good parts to it. It's most of a decent movie. The third one...
I didn't even care.
No, at that point didn't. It's funny, we all look terribly on certain trilogies. The Matrix is a trilogy that people look back on badly. And think about how bad that trilogy was. It makes me appreciate something like the Pirates of the Caribbean one, where it may not have been as good as the first one, but the trilogy's not terrible.
No, it's not. It's surprisingly okay.
Yeah, but people always look at that because the first one was so fucking good, and the second one was not as fucking good.
The Matrix, the first one, was a great movie. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The second one was like, we're just going to do something just like the first one and worse.
And the first one was sort of almost... Even though it's not really cyberpunk, it was sort of people's first introduction to that cyberpunk sort of feel.
Yeah,
of that kind of thing.
Well, and it had a bit of a philosophy going for it too.
So it's formative for a lot of people.
It just didn't have that. It didn't grab me that way.
I mean, it's much the same way. I mean, there are formative movies that we all watch that we will love regardless, and nostalgia for them will overshadow all faults. I like The Matrix. I think it is a darn good movie. I don't even think it's the best movie the Wachowskis have made by a long stretch.
Speed Racer.
Yes. Also, V for Vendetta is better.
I've never seen that.
Don't watch it right now. It's a little too on point.
Yeah, it is.
I hear that.
No, it's way too on point. Yeah. You're like, no.
one of the things I wanted to talk about, and it's just started. I've only got like 4 episodes in because that's all they got. It's another one on Paramount Plus. It is 1883. 1883 is a
Yellowstone?
western. It is. It is. It's kind of the prequel to Yellowstone.
Does it have Sam Elliott in it?
Yes, it does.
You know what? I saw a banner ad go by for that on Prime today, and I'm like, that looks like Sam Elliott's profile. And then there was the date, and I had no idea it was a movie. I didn't know what it was about
Yeah,
because
it's a TV show. It's kind of the prequel to Yellowstone.
I don't
which
know what Yellowstone
is
but
about a modern day cowboy ranch.
Does it have horses in it?
Oh yeah.
I'm there.
You will probably like 1883. It is kind of no hold bar western.
It's Sam Elliott and horses.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
there for that.
I'm enjoying it. I like this. I don't like Yellowstone, but I do like this, and it's a good western. So far, it's pretty brutal too. They don't hold back on this one, which I'm okay with, because this is about a group of people trying to move west that have no idea what they're doing and have never like ridden horses. Tried to do things.
Oh,
It's
wow,
like German
okay.
German immigrants trying to move west.
I feel like I need to watch this.
You would probably like
Is
it.
this a Amazon original thing?
No, it's
Paramount
on
Plus.
Paramount Plus.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah. That's the size of that.
Fuck
Yeah.
that.
But what you could do is, I know that they're doing like a 30-day, free 30 days of Paramount Plus on some places. And so you could wait till the entire first season is out, do your 30 days, end it before it starts up.
Let me warn you on that.
That's what some people are doing.
Because if it's Paramount Plus with commercials, I don't know if they still do that
No.
or not. When it was CBS All Access, you had commercials or commercial free.
It's commercial free.
They got good because with commercials, that shit was fucking unwatchable.
Yeah. No, it's all commercial free on Paramount Plus now.
Good. I mean, I ended up paying for the good version because I'm like, nope, fuck commercials, fuck you in the asshole, fuckers.
So yeah, no, it's all commercial free.
So there you go. First podcast of the year.
First one of the year, and next week is our 200th episode.
200.
200 episodes.
Are we doing something special? Should I take the Monday afterwards off? Am I going to be? Is it going to be crunk?
It's gonna be crunk. It's gonna be
All
crunk.
right. Maybe I'll put in for the Monday off.
We need special guests.
No, we are the special guests. Our guests are the special guests. The people
Very
listening.
special.
Our 200th episode, Captain Mizzy.
Well, see, Captain Mizzy, here's what's going to happen. God is going to have this great elaborate plan. He's going to tell Kathy and I before the preamble, like at 7:15 Eastern time on that Sunday, what we're doing. So we're going to scramble.
This is
I don't
how
know
we
what
do
we're doing,
it.
but we're definitely going to be celebrating because that's a pretty big milestone.
Unless you
Yeah.
have suggestions. If people have suggestions what they'd like to hear us talk about,
Find
I'd be
John on Twitter
Happy to hear it.
and send him your suggestions on Twitter.
Yep, at John O. Spencer.
And you can send that. Or you can go and, just grab any of
On
us
our
and go
Facebook page, message us.
message us and say, hey, y'all should do this. I'm sure
There you
we'll
go.
do a 200 episode in review and talk about some of our stupid shit that we've done. But it'll be that.
It's kind of a blur of stupid shit at this point.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Guys, we are going to send you off to V, of course, of League of Dragon, and let you watch her doing some crazy stuff and playing games. Please be safe out there. Please watch each other's back. Please make sure you get vaccinated, get boosted if it's time for that. Make sure that you wash your hands, wear your mask. Be safe. We want to see everybody at HUDCon 2022. For More Than Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
I'm Kathy.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
That's the best value meow Gonzo meow I've had.
Ow!
3 for the price of 2.
I know.
I got them on the whole episode.
Ow! Perfect.
I know. Totally forgot they were on as I was painting, so you got lucky.
Yeah, but while you were painting, it was the big screen of your eyeball monster, so